Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Starblast Studios coming here with a double figure review. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the new Kong Studios Ultra Ego Vegeta and the Kong Studios Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now, this was a double set that was released by Kong Studios, specifically done on 5K Toys. And if you guys do want to go ahead and pick this figure up, 5K Toys is the best place to go ahead and pick up any figures that is related to Kong Studios. Now, when it comes to the actual box art, I do really like what we have. I'm pretty sure that this is some like art that was taken some official material online, although I could be completely wrong. It could be just like from some actual artists and stuff. And the reason why I say this is that in the past, when it comes to the Kong Studios boxes, come to find out that the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta boxes is actually taken from the Super Dragon Ball Heroes card, which is where this art is from. But as for this seems to be like some sort of edits on the boxes to make it actually resemble what the figure is, because these are figures that are using the exact same body, which is why I find it idealistic to actually review these figures at the exact same time. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get these figures out of the box and see what they're actually like in hand. Alright, guys, so we got both of the figures out of the packaging, and first and foremost, we will take a look at the new Ultra Ego Vegeta, which is something that I think a lot of people have been heavily excited about, as this is a transformation for Vegeta that has only been exclusively shown in the manga right now. Dragon Ball Super hasn't returned to actually show off this form, and so having it here in figure form is definitely going to lead this figure to have a lot of appeal, as, you know, it's a transformation we don't currently have. And one big topic of controversy that people have shown is that, like, with the actual colors that was released, the concern is that the actual figure itself doesn't actually accurately depict the colors that it was shown from the actual color depictions of the art that Toyotaro has given us. And to the extent they are a little bit right when they actually talk about it, because it does start off with a darker type of like black here, like in the actual middle, and then it fades to a sort of magenta-ish roll. But the beautiful thing about this hair sculpt is that it's actually made of some translucent plastic. So if you actually get like the right bit of lighting, I do have a light over here, we can showcase it. You can actually, the colors will actually change depending on how you light it up. So here, looking at it from the back, it does sort of change. And here, you know, I can actually make the light a little bit stronger. I can do it here just for this video. You can kind of see right there. Look at how the actual figure does change, like in the depending on the light. And I know this is a very strong light, and I know how, you know, it is going to be affecting it. But I promise you guys that when you have this figure in hand, that when you have it and you're having it out in the sun or whatever, the figure is going to naturally change and give you like a much different color, which I think is actually the smartest move, because the art could be very much different from how it was initially depicted. And in the anime, for all we know, could go with a very different color. We all know the differences between the Dragon Ball Super Broly, Super Saiyan Blue colors, as well as the ones from the anime. So I think going around about this right was the safest way to go and ensure that at the very least that the colors would sort of like fluctuate between it being like a darker and lighter purple. And also considering the fact that this is all currently based off of a manga which doesn't have an official color depiction for this form yet, I think this was the right way to go. And this is the best that we can really expect right now, considering there is no anime that we can get these facial expressions off of. But for the actual form, I do think that it has come out very, very nicely. I do like the earring that they sort of included on there, which is the earring that Beerus gave him in the manga. You guys should really read up on the manga for the Granola arc. It's a really good arc. For the actual sculpting, I think it's also magnificently done as well. Now, one bit of disappointment I think people will have is how the faces actually connect into the hair. The hair is actually one solid piece, which you take faces out of and doing that. It's not like the same exact mechanics that we are used to when it comes to other Vegeta faces, where they usually have like some front pieces of the hair connected to there, which with the way it has been done here, I think it's actually done pretty nicely. It does fit in there fairly seamlessly, and you don't really notice it like very much at all when it comes down to it. Maybe you can kind of see it from the side, but even then, I think it does a fairly good job for what it's intended to do. Now, for the actual rest of the body, what makes this figure different from the Super Saiyan 3 body mold is that it actually has this really nice pearlescent shine through it, which isn't as a result of the paint being plastic. It's like it's pearlescent shine to sort of, I think the idea is to make it look like he has his sort of Ultra Ego aura sort of being all around him. And I think that this pearlescent paint, now, I'm not usually the kind of guy who approves of like stuff being shiny, but here I think it came out really, really nicely. If you're gonna make stuff shiny, this right here is the way to do it. It makes it to where Vegeta with the Ultra Ego form sort of has a much different type of ethnicity to him, and this is something I really do appreciate with them. They could have easily gone and made this figure like the exact same paintwork as with the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but they went and try to make this a little bit more, they try to make this specific figure unique from the Super Saiyan 3, and I do really appreciate about that. Now, speaking of the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, let's go ahead and put this thing back to the side and take a look at Super Saiyan 3. The sculpting on this hair is absolutely fantastic. Look at the way that the paint actually goes across his hair, how it turns, like, how it fades to white towards the very ends of the hair as well. It has so much colors and stuff going on. This right here is absolutely how I think the Super Saiyan 3 colors should be. Now, for comparison to an actual proper Super Saiyan 3 figure, here we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And one thing that people may be a bit disappointed is that because of the way that they did the hair, it doesn't quite match. However, like, I would actually say that the style that they went for this actually looks a lot nicer. I think it actually matches a lot of the ways that that SH Figuarts used to actually make their figures back in the day with the Super Saiyan 3 sculpt, because this reminds me a lot of how the original SH Figuarts 1.0 Super Saiyan Vegeta came out. Not the premium color edition, but the regular one. I think that this absolutely came out really, really well. And just like how the Ultra Ego figure is with a Vegeta, you do have other optional expressions. It does make the faces come out the exact same way. You can actually interchange these faces amongst like one another, although I don't see why you'd want to do that. But another really nice mechanic that both of them share is that they actually feature a double ball peg, which allows them to get as much movability out of there as possible. It can be a little bit tricky at times because of the fact that they're made with a double ball peg. It hinders articulation a little bit, but it's really not the end of the world at all. I think that the double ball peg is absolutely tight enough that it holds the figure up. But, you know, because of the fact that this is sculpting work, this is plastic right in the back, this figure is going to be a little bit back heavy. And unfortunately, the actual ankles, the outdated ankle articulation that everyone uses for Vegeta nowadays, is really not helping in holding this figure up. But one really nice thing that I do really like that they did, other than the really nice bits of articulation, they added in a little like plastic thing right over here, which you actually can remove if you so choose to. I'm not going to do it right now because it's kind of a bit of a hassle to put it back in, but you know, I don't feel like it's going to break or anything. But what it does do is that when you set this figure back, it helps it to where the hair is a lot more stable on him, so where he kind of has this really nice silhouette going on with the hair. And I like that they did that in case that the figure had any like kind of QC issues, to where that support piece absolutely becomes necessary and would help save the figure if any production was to go south with the making of this. This is a really smart design choice, like whether or not the figure would have big QC issues or not. I'm really glad that they implemented this. Now, one accessory that both of these figures have come with is actually an interchangeable torso piece. This is the one for the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and actually, wow, I'm just now noticing this. So I think I have a QC issue on mine. I'm actually just now noticing this. So the ball peg that is underneath the you can kind of see. I'll try to take this out right now. Actually, we'll just do it here on camera. Just try to get that off and wedge it off in such a way where it doesn't pull the double ball peg with it. There we go. Okay, you have to kind of be a little bit careful when you're doing this, because the double ball peg does have a tendency to come off the neck and on the figure as well, and I usually take a yo-yo string to pull it out. But as you can see, when it comes to the torso piece, and I know that this is for Super Saiyan 3 because of the paint work on it, you can see that the ball peg is, for this one, is actually much bigger than the one right here, and I think that is because this specific head, they accidentally put the Ultra Ego headpiece into there, resulting in the fact that these double ball pegs are inconsistent to actually change with them on here. Just so you guys can see, once you try to put this on the other torso, it doesn't work. So you kind of do, if you want to make it work, have to like interchange the entire neck as well, which that's you have to kind of do it with hot water or something. It's very difficult to actually do it right now, but I don't feel like the figure is going to break. But a lot of the figures, but for both of these, have actually come off very, very tight. So I'm not gonna want to play with that right over here. But the interchangeable torso piece, I do think adds a little bit of playability, but ultimately I actually don't find it very necessary to interchange at all, since all you're really adding on here is little bit of like of the ripped up sculpted detail in the little hole right there. But really, I don't even think it's necessary to interchange. And it's actually more of a hassle to do it as well, because when you're interchanging everything else, you have to take out the arm pieces as well, which is doable. It's just, okay, I guess on this one it's not going to come off, which I don't really want to take it off anyways, but maybe on this one it'll do. No, okay, I've had more luck actually interchanging the arms on the Ultra Ego Vegeta and getting the whole ripped look done with that, because they both come with these types of torsos. But realistically, I don't even think it's, even if you are able to get all the work done to get it to put the torsos on, I don't even think it's worth it. Now, both of these figures I think do have a lot of the same things going on here. So the articulation for both is supposed to be the same, but actually being able to handle some of these figures is a little bit risky in my opinion. When it comes to the actual neck, there is this bit of an issue where it's just like, because of how tight the top part of the neck, the double ball peg is, the neck will actually sort of move with the head as you rotate it, which can get a little bit annoying and finicky, but it's not that bad of a QC issue. When it comes to the articulation on the back, it does sort of go out and in like that. You can, if you want to, sort of take the head off and twist it around, although it's not something I'm really trying to do right now. Actually, no, I don't think you can do it. As you can see, when you actually try to twist it here on the bottom, the actual plastic does sort of get in the way of it. So you can get it out to try to get a little bit of more of those poses to sort of flesh out the hair and stuff, make it look like it's blowing in the wind. But in terms of actually turning the whole thing around, like what people like to do with their Yamcha figures, I don't think that's the best idea. You're actually probably risking breaking it if you try flipping this thing all the way around. It's not a mechanic that is intended for you to actually do on your Vegeta. So I'd stay away from doing that. Speaking of articulation, since they are the same, we're probably not even going to go over it in this video. But one major QC issue I'm having with this Vegeta is that for the life of me, I can't get this leg to go out to the side. I talked about this on my Instagram story like almost a week ago, and this one can do it just fine. I tried using hot water and an air dryer to actually get this thing moving out, and it's just not working. And the very frustrating thing about this is that it's not like one of those figures you just take like this other Vegeta legs and just throw it right on, right? You can't really do that, because the legs are specifically done to match the torso with the pearlescent color. So if you were to interchange the legs with any other Vegeta figure you may have, you'll notice the inconsistencies. And so I'm going to have to contact 5K Toys in regards to this to see if I can get some actual legs back. But one thing that I do really like, now this is one thing that's great about this Vegeta, if you take the actual head off, you know what, you kind of have to do this. You can't do this with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but with Ultra Ego you can. You can go ahead and take this off. Well, okay, the entire double ball peg does come off with it, so just give me 1 second. Okay, now that that's off, we can go ahead and take the Broly movie Vegeta. We can actually take this head and put it on there, and, well, if I can get this on here. There we go. See, look at that. This right here, okay, it is actually a little bit loose, which is unfortunate. However, let's go ahead and take this face. This is my favorite face out of all of the Ultra Ego Vegeta faces. Look at that. This is a very beautiful face. This absolutely works, I think, when it comes to this Vegeta. Absolutely fantastic, and the entire body mold as well. The dark colors of the hair goes well with the darker colors of the Broly movie Vegeta body, and I think this absolutely looks great. This is one of my favorite looks right now for Vegeta, for me personally. But while we're on the topic of faces, one issue that I see a lot of people actually complaining about, so if you look at this Ultra Ego Vegeta, you can see that they sort of painted and put on some sideburns right there to go along with the hair. But they did not do that with the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now, for me specifically, it wasn't even something that I noticed when having this figure, but a lot of people who saw it online was like, yo, where's all the sideburns? And I was like, to me, it doesn't specifically bother me. But I do feel like, for people that it does bother, they kind of have every right to be bugged by them, because even Super Saiyan 3 Goku himself has, his sideburns on his figure. So, it's an interesting thing. I don't know why they did it with Ultra Ego, but not Super Saiyan 3. However, it's not really the end of the world for me, as, the sideburns are just, a very subtle detail, and I feel like when it comes to all of the other faces, it doesn't really matter too much. Now, when it comes to Super Saiyan 3's faces, so obviously we got this really nice smirking face that goes along with it. It does also come with a stern face, which is the face that comes on right out of the box, which also came out pretty good. And finally, it comes with the screaming face, which I think just does, it comes out really, really well. And I didn't even notice this initially, but when you look at the actual eyes for him, there does appear to be some highlights as well, and the pupils, which I think really does add a lot to the detail of the eye. That is really good attention to detail with the transformation. And I really like this kind of screaming face because it seems like it's Vegeta being like, yeah, I can go Super Saiyan 3 just like Goku, haha, or Kakarot as he would call him. Anyways, for the other faces that this Ultra Ego Vegeta comes with, since we already went over the stern face and the teeth grid maniacal looking face, here we have this face that looks very similar to the stern face, but it's actually supposed to be the face that he had, the facial expression that he had when he first turned into the form, which is the one that's the facial expression that's been shown off on the actual art piece in front of the box. That is what it's supposed to be. I think it looks better here in the actual, like when you're having like all of these lights around and stuff. That does help it out, but like overall I think that the face needed to have like some sort of like detail around the mouth to kind of make it a little bit more seeable, because it is very faint and there's not really much that's really helping it highlight. I think that whatever paint that they used, like to actually, you know, fill in the actual stern face right there, could have actually been used on the like around the mouthpiece of this form. That would have heavily, I think, helped out this facial expression. And for the final face, just like with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, it does come with a screaming face, but it's very strange. I am finding it more and more strange that, you know, we have this exact facial expression that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta has, and yet for some reason they couldn't put sideburns on this. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's not a problem for me, but just why not put the sideburns on that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta already? I feel like that would have helped out the case a lot. Because I guess for some people it does legitimately bother them with the sideburns. Ultimately, I think that the faces here look absolutely great for Ultra Ego Vegeta. Now, as for the articulation, it pretty much goes for the both of them, but because of the way that they have like the double ball peg on this Vegeta head, he can't really look up. This is him looking up all the way he can. He can look down really well, and because it's a double ball peg, he can look all the way to the side. But for the rest of the articulation, it is pretty much exactly the same if you own a Majin Vegeta figure. Some of the joints are a little bit, you know, tight and whatnot. And another issue that I forgot to go over in the accessories, he actually has all of the exact same hands that comes with the original Majin Vegeta figure. This goes for both of the figures, by the way, but actually changing out the hands can be a hassle. It can be done. It's just be very careful when you're doing it, because unless you're that kid from Toy Story, you don't want your figures to break. And another slight issue that does go with both is that when you're using like the ab crunch, just be careful like how far you go with it. It's not actually going to break, but it will. The thing can pretty easily come off, but it doesn't come off like in an annoying way. It just really, when you reach the limits of it, does it actually begin to come off. So yeah, just be a little bit careful of that. It's very easy to get the thing back on, and you know, when you're moving it around, it only will pop off when you force it. So just another thing I figured I'd mention. Alright guys, so that has been my review of the Kong Studios Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Ultra Ego Vegeta. And if I had any major QC issues in regards to the aesthetics of these figures, I wish for Ultra Ego Vegeta they would have actually given him some sleeves to make it actually, you know, almost as accurate as possible to the manga, because this was not the exact same outfit that he was wearing in the actual depiction of the manga. So I wish they would have gone about that. But overall, I really do think that Kong Studios has stepped up their game. They are, unfortunately, they do seem to like feature a little bit more QC issues in regards to this release than normal. And actually, one thing I would like to note is for all of the collectors out there trying to get specifically the Ultra Ego Vegeta, is that like be very careful when it comes to online, because this figure has actually sold out on 5K Toys, and scalpers are going all over the place with it, selling it for like over $125 and such. It's kind of insane right now. So just be very careful when it comes to people like that on the internet. But like as for Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, he's still available on 5K Toys. So a link will be down in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and pick this up. I want to thank 5K Toys so much for providing these figures and getting them in so early. If you guys do want to go ahead and pick them up, 5K Toys, like I said, is your place to go. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the comment section. Until then.